think they're the ears and the eyes of a practice. They're the way the practice connects to the community. They're the way the practice makes sure that what it's offering is what patients want.
What kind of difference can they make?
Oh, immense difference. Not only in how the practice works, but also through commissioning in what services are available outside the practice. But also patient groups can end up running the practice, which in my case they do. We've got patients all over the practice today running almost every part of it.
What kind of things do they do?
We've got 2 patients that run the herb garden, the organic garden. We've got patients running the integrated library, some meeting and greeting, some organising evening lectures, one ex-school teacher organising an art display in the waiting room from the local primary schools, primary schools on health and art. So, you know, just about every aspect of health being covered.
Why is it important for you and your organisation to support this campaign?
It's important because I think it's the sustainability of primary care depends upon doing so. Unless we keep contact with patients and unless we can harness that energy of patients, both in the way we plan our services but also in the way we run them, I don't think the NHS is sustainable. It's essential that in running primary care we deprofessionalise wherever we can, and if we're going to get self-help, personal health and community health really going, that means mobilising local people through patient groups to do that.
Is that all right?
Well, do you want me to say one or two?
Sorry.
Well, yes. If we, shall I try one? If I. Maybe something about today, about launching a movement, yes. Something like that.
Okay, so I'll say, if I just ask you something broad, like what's today all about for you?
Yes.
Okay, so, yeah. For you, what's today all about?
Oh, I think it's about really unleashing patient power within the NHS. It's about making patients not, if you like, a part of the practice, but an intrinsic way in which it works, both in the planning and in the execution of its tasks.
And what will that actually mean for healthcare in the UK?
Well, for healthcare in the UK, it means that we may have the building block of patient. For healthcare in the UK, it gives us the building block of real patient involvement. We've had so much cant about patient groups and patient representation, but this is real and this is solid, and it can interface all the way up through commissioning to PCTs. That's what makes it so different. And the other thing that makes it different is it makes the NHS economically sustainable, because we can harness that patient power, that patient involvement, which can vastly increase the number of services we can offer inside our practices.
And what difference will this campaign make, do you think?
I think this campaign is more than a campaign. I think it's the beginning of a movement.
In your view, why is it important to have a campaign like this to encourage patient participation groups?
I think it's very important that patients are involved in the organisation of and the quality control of the practices where they belong. I think GPs can use patients as allies. Patients can find that they can make the service more flexible for them. I think that as an alliance, they can actually stand up to what primary care organisations want to do to practices and patient care. And I think it's a very useful way of moving into the practice-based commissioning arena, where it's otherwise quite tempting for managers to manage practice-based commissioning, whereas it actually should be doctors, patients and nurses providing such things.
What do you hope the campaign that's being launched today will achieve?
I hope it'll encourage more people to have PPGs like me. I think that PPGs are a very good idea. I think they're quite easy. Some practices see them as threatening, and I think the whole idea of this campaign is to encourage practices that have never thought about having a patient participation group to have one. They're a good thing. They're easy. They involve very little effort on the practices part, and they give patients a focus. And they are huge supporters. They are almost never adversely critical and almost invariably allies. I think they're a great use, and I hope people will have a go at forming one if they never have, or at least think about it. Time you thought about better patient responsiveness for your practice, and this is a good way of doing it.
Field, I'm Chairman of the Royal College of GPs.
Well, just to start with, could you outline why you think patient participation, and particularly patient participation groups, are important?
I believe participation of the patient and the public is essential, actually, at local and national level to take the health service forward. Patients need to be involved at a practice level to help us with planning our services, to give us feedback quickly on how things are going in the surgery. And I think if we can have more active involvement of all groups of patients, the health service will be much better place and provide better care targeted at the needs of the people where they need that care to be delivered, at home and in the practice.
Why is it important for you and your organisation to support this campaign?
Well, the Royal College of GPs was the first Royal College to have a patient participation group many years ago. We've led the way. We believe fundamentally that patient involvement is key to the development of the health service, but we also, probably more importantly, believe that the consultation is a true partnership, should be a true partnership between the patient and the doctor.
What are your hopes for, what do you hope this campaign will achieve?
Well, this campaign should help us to ensure that all practices have a patient participation group by the end of the year. I think we have to be very ambitious in our aims. This is so important for taking the health service forward at a local and national level. GPs need to be emotionally engaged in this to understand the benefits for them and for the practice, as well as for the patients that they serve.
And what difference will it make to healthcare, to the healthcare landscape, if that aim is achieved?
Well, I believe we can better design the health system. So I'll start again. I think with more active involvement of patients at practice level, we can better design services for the local community. That will mean that patients will have a better access to care, a better choice of services, but also we can then target resources to care and treatments that work. And I think the patients need to be part of that decision-making process and help us with what will be at times difficult decisions about where we spend local money.
Thank you very much.
Is that all right?